I still remember first time that I went to Berkeley and I ate in Chez Panisse. And I was like, okay, this woman cooking all these dishes. I see one plate of clementines, and they call it dessert. I see a plate of few leaves of lettuce with no much else, some oil maybe. I'm like, man, what is the big deal with Chez Panisse? I couldn't get reservation in your top restaurant in the tasting menu one. It was 20-something years ago. But I was able to eat in the other one, the more informal one. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I remember we ordered one dish, we ordered another, we ordered all the dishes coming from that beautiful oven, a kitchen that seemed forever happy. We had the best of times. But the moment that for me was serendipity is when a plate of fruit arrives with no 5, no 6, 3 dates. And I'm like, I already had an amazing meal. But I'm like, I cannot believe I'm here in the great restaurant of Alice Water, and she's sending 3 dates, and that's the plate. I was sarcastic at best, until my wife obviously grabs one myself. You see, the moment I touched that date, use the feeling. Obviously, at the look, they were big, plump. They were some of the biggest dates I've ever seen. But then when I touched it, I began realizing that, oh my God, this is a date I never touched before. Because inside that very thin skin, I could notice there was a gelatin-like date texture I never see before. And very delicately, I peel it, not like you have to pay to peel a date, but I did it. And inside was again this beautiful brownish going to orange. The smell was already like molasses and so many other things I didn't. And then when I bring it to my lips, the contact with the lips was like, and in the moment the tongue got in touch with it, my entire body was like, I cannot believe that I've been highly sarcastic about a chef having the guts to serve you in her restaurant 3 mandarins or 3 dates, and I'm here thinking this is probably one of the best bites I've eaten in many years. And probably since that moment on the date, that those products is something I search for hours every year, where I know the farmer, where I know the season, exactly. And I will do whatever it takes to get those dates, to get those clementines, to get those peaches, to get those sea urchin. And it's life-changing. You changed my life in that way. Well. and I decided never to be sarcastic anymore. And the chef just gives you just a date on the plate.
Well, I think that, everybody has eaten like that on the planet since the beginning of time. That you're growing food, and when it's ripe and when it's ready, you're eating it. And when it's over, it's over. And it's something that is very local, and it's what, we used to have in common with everybody on the planet. That there is a focus on seasonality. We never imported food except coffee, tea, and spices until about 1950, right after the war. But I just feel like I experienced that way that everyone has been eating in Paris at that moment that I went. And it was only taste that I wanted when I got back home. But I found taste when I found the farmer. And I found the farmer who was growing his food. Well, he wouldn't even use the word organic because he was more than organic. He was regenerative. And he was amazing. Bob Kennard, and he said, my food is 25% more nutritious than anybody else's. And I laughed, and it is, because he was farming in that way that gave all the nutrition in the soil to the carrot. And so that carrot not only had the taste, but it had the nutrition. And he spoiled me in that way that when one ingredient was over, it was over. And we move on to the next. And then we put out the word at Chez Panisse that we were looking for farmers who were growing food and in this way. And we'd buy it at the real cost directly from them. And I have a map of...
That was like 50 plus years ago, revolutionary.
It was about 50 or 45 years ago. But we made a map of all the people who wanted to sell to us. And there were about 100 different farmers, ranchers, all kinds of people.
When you came back from France, you had the very clear idea you wanted to open a restaurant.
It's just because I wanted to live like the French, and I wanted to eat like the French. And I didn't find that food, but I thought, you know, if I open a French restaurant, maybe it'll come. And it did.